What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Logic Vault. Okay, so I have pulled this up because I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. I've heard a lot of things between PayPal, you know, cutting things from Steam and just games in general. I've heard on and off things, multiple different things. So we're gonna watch a video by Bellier News. I believe that's how you say that. All right, without messing it up. Bellier News. PayPal cut millions from Steam. Now they're freezing dev funds. We are going to see what this is about. So let's get into it.
Yeah, we need to talk about payment processors again because the fallout from all of the interference is still unfolding across the industry. We've got some devs on Steam being cut off from early access funding. There are devs using PayPal having a lot of fun, like as an example, one dev claiming that their £80,000 is being held hostage. But the pushback, thankfully, is also real, because right now, in the UK, Australia, and Canada, governments are facing public pressure to, well, regulate this payment processor BS. But there is a thread I've got to mention that I've got to call out, and that is people just saying, oh, well, you know, won't really impact me, I don't really care. It's a bit like when people say, oh, I've got nothing to hide, therefore that privacy law isn't really that important. Now, I'd say, if you think this won't impact you, sorry, but I really think you are wrong, especially when we run this experiment across time. This campaign means that huge chunks of the world can't buy games, any games. And when that sort of thing is happening, no one escapes the effects. Because
Hold on.
even if you don't know their impact is happening, no one is.
In early July 2025, PayPal notified Valve that they're acquiring Bank for payment transaction in certain currencies, was immediately terminating the processing of any transactions related to Steam. This affects Steam purchases using PayPal and currencies other than EU, CAD, GPB, JPY, AUD, and USD. I'm going to grab another drink. I'm going to let this play, and if I hear something, I'll come right back.
Escapes the effects, because even if you don't know they're impacting you, they are, because they're systemic effects that are industry-wide. And that's just one reason why this matters. You know how we live in the Torment Nexus? Well, one little feature of the Torment Nexus is fun things like your insurance provider getting hacked. That actually just happened to people with Allianz Life Insurance just recently on July 16th. What happened is the hackers used social engineering to breach the third-party cloud system and get personally identifiable data on the majority of their 1.4 million customers. And things like that are why I use today's sponsor Incogni, because they're our way to fight back. You see, when data leaks, data brokers exist to harvest that data and sell it on. So if you ever wondered how that spam caller got your number, it's often that, actually. And Incogni solves this problem by automating the legal work that you would otherwise have to do. And the best news is you can join at incogni.com/BellierNews with 60% off the annual plan on my link. Now, here's how it works. Get ready. You enter your information, and that's it. It'll just go do everything. You see, you've got the legal right to have your data taken down, but that takes hours and it's not permanent. So once Incogni's got your stuff, they automatically scan all the brokers, they send takedown requests, and they add you to the suppression list. They do that automatically, and they continually rescan so your data is kept down. Just look at my dashboard, 206 sent. 4 in progress, 202 completed, and I'm on 23 suppression lists, which is pretty goddamn good peace of mind. At incogni.com/BellierNews, you get 60% off the annual plan, so just check them out using my link today. If you missed our latest videos, well, here's the short version of what happened. Payment processors demanded changes to Steam and to itch.io. But not just that, they fundamentally altered how adult content gets processed, and they've set a terrible precedent for how art can be sold. Itch.io, as an example, is still dealing with an incredible, humongous workload, where they're just having to re-index all of their adult works. They're also having to find new payment processors who will accept adult content, and they have loads of devs who are real frustrated with the situation. Over on Steam, well, Valve have delisted many games.
Hold on, let's see how many of y'all fucking know these games.
Over on Steam,
I'll bet you there's a couple.
Valve have delisted many games. They've also changed their rules. Steam, well, loads of. They're also having to find new payment processors who will accept adult content, and they have loads.
Don't let it starve. I've heard of that one. The hell is Frontline? Yep, there was a couple Gooner games in here. Oh, I see it. I see it. Brutal Legend. Isn't that? Oh my god. Oh my god. What's his name? Jack Black.
Loads of devs who are real frustrated with the situation. Over on Steam, well, Valve have delisted many games. They've also changed their rules completely, such that now anything a payment processor does not like can't be sold on Steam. And the inciting incident, I suppose, where this all comes from, it's groups like Collective Shout, where they essentially object to all, air quotes, exploitation media. Legal or illegal, it doesn't matter to them. It's essentially based on, I guess, personal morals and distaste, which they are totally okay to have. But, it's whenever they try to make them be the morals and the tastes that the rest of us are kind of forced to live by. And they're just one example of groups who are pressuring payment processors. And these processors, well, they're happy to restrict creators from the financial system. We all kind of know that. So happy that, in this story, they're allegedly withholding £80,000 from a dev. His crime was that he worked on one of those nudie games. Tut tut. Let's talk about the 80 grand. It's what one dev has had held in PayPal whenever PayPal froze his account. PayPal basically...
I owe a massive corporation tax bill to HMRC, and PayPal has frozen all of my funds because I made an adult game. Oh, hell no. Oh, absolutely not. Sue them. Sue them like there's no tomorrow. Freezing your funds because you've made something? Buddy, unless it is written in the rules or something like that, hell no. Absolutely not. See, this is the problem that I'm starting to see recently. And people hate what I have to say because I'm brutal and I don't care. My non-give-a-shit attitude's been here since the day I was born. It's just not going to work in the end. You continue to push people and you push them and try to force your rules and force your ideas. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? You force and you force and you force it. You are going to be responded with a backhand that is going to hurt so goddamn bad it's not even funny. Okay? And like you hit a group hard enough and they will lash out. It's like a champagne bottle. You shake it enough and it will explode.
Ask where the money came from. It's a sort of question often asked for financial crime purposes. Now, the devs said that it came from, quote, programming work on video games. Well, that wasn't enough. PayPal dug deeper. They asked for a store page, and when they discovered it was adult content that was legal in the United Kingdom,
they refused to release his money. Oh, hell no. Sue him for theft. Sue him for game rights. I mean, if it's yours and you designed it, nah. Sue them for everything they have.
They refused to release the money. Yeah, because someone who did programming work on a product that's legal in the UK, PayPal? No, can't use that. And the reason why is that it broke their terms and conditions. You see, their rules say any activity, quote, that relates to transactions for digital adult content is a violation. So, getting paid for work on an adult game does count.
I think PayPal needs to be stopped. I think no one should use PayPal. I think everyone should stop using PayPal. Fuck it. Fuck them. What are they going to do? I think PayPal as a whole needs to be taught a lesson. And I think everybody needs to stop using them. Use something else, dude. Use Cash App. All right? Use some other form of payment. Screw PayPal. PayPal can chew on a concrete step.
Even if you're just, say, programming the liquid physics. Yeah, so that counts. This isn't really a new thing. It's actually been happening for years. It's one of the reasons why, in this space, Nobody really likes PayPal. PayPal even limits accounts for creators with adult Patreons as one example. They withhold payments from creators quite often, and usually it only gets fixed if your complaints go viral enough to, say, warrant a review from Business Insider. And if you think that's oddly specific, yeah, it is, because that's what it took to recover $90,000 in one particular case. And unfortunately, what happens is that the options are continually narrowing for these people. As an example, our developer with the 80 grand locked in PayPal, well, he's being debanked by multiple UK banks. They simply say that it's too risky. Now, you may think that that doesn't affect you. You're not buying or making adult games. But here's the thing. Valve gives us direct evidence that these demands go way, way beyond adult games. Back in July, Steam confirmed something shocking. PayPal's acquiring bank, which is the one that processes the payments, made a new rule. And it's one you probably felt, because it was that they would no longer accept Steam transactions in most currencies. They would only accept them in British pounds, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, American dollars, and Japanese yen. Sounds like a currency problem, right? Maybe it's about refunds and conversions. No, it's not. Steam told Rock Paper Shotgun the truth in the matter, that this is, quote, regarding content in Steam related to what we've previously commented on surrounding MasterCard. What does that mean? Well, it means that anyone trying to buy any products on Steam through PayPal will get punished. And it's all because payment processors don't like legal adult content. I think the words legal need to be emphasized. This is not just about like fringe illegal stuff. This is about mainstream legal stuff. Pretty bad. And for developers, this is another disaster and what's just been an avalanche of bad news. Seriously, it's just been bad. As an example, another thing in Steam, which is early access. And Valence flagged what multiple devs discovered, which is...
I just need to make this clear to everybody on the planet. Anybody and everybody, doesn't matter where you're from. This is just how I view things. You should be able to buy and get, mind you, as an adult, and as long as it's legal, I don't care. But you should be, as an adult, able to get whatever you want. Okay? You should be able to have whatever you want, own whatever you want. You are an adult, do whatever you want. I do not care. Okay? That is your choice. As long as it's legal and it's not bothering other people, I don't care. Now, again, like I said, I'm brutal as it comes, all right? The way I think is a lot of people do not like it. So my other thing is that this is a huge one. Even if it's illegal, right? And I don't mean now we're not talking about games and money here. We're talking about just illegal stuff that, you know, you could do at your own volition. If you're going to do that, do it in your own home. Do it in your own home. Do it on your own land. I don't care. As long as it's on your property and your area. Do not involve other people. Okay? Don't include anybody else. You do what you want to do. You are an adult. It is free will. That is the crazy thing. I don't condone certain things. Hey, but I can't stop you. Why? Because most of you are adults. This needs to be really like stretched across, and I mean to a fine line point. If you are an adult, you can buy, do, and get whatever you want. No one can tell you no. Okay? Now, if you're using somebody's thing, MasterCard, PayPal, whatever, and in their description, it tells you that you can't get these things, you might want to start looking for somebody else to use. Okay? Like I said, I might not condone some things, but I don't really care what you do as long as you're an adult and you're responsible about it. We call that a little bit of lick of common sense. I didn't have a whole lot of that growing up, let me tell you. But damn, when I got older.
That Steam is denying early access to adult games. For the developers involved, this was obviously a bit of a shock. They had spent weeks going back and forth with reviewers at Steam, and nobody mentioned this limitation. But now they are locked out from launching store pages. And that means
hell no.
Not just money stuff. No. It means they can't generate followers. It means they can't build wish lists, things that are important for how lots of games are made. And here's what's weird. This isn't even a consistent thing. You see, Rock Paper Shotgun found denials as recently as 2024, but SteamDB shows games released in early access after that point. The games with adult content.
Oh, buddy.
So it's all quite strange.
There was a lot.
The process page hasn't changed publicly.
I will say, Ape War cracks me up. I spotted that immediately.
2019.
That just looks hilarious. I don't know what it is, but it sounds funny. I'm going to go look it up later.
Product build completed for review. Now, Valve warned that it might take a bit longer than 3 to 5 days. I could make a lot of jokes there, but I'll leave those aside. But nowhere does it say that early access is not an option. So this is strange. Something has changed. Valve have not announced the change, though. So if you're making a non-mature game, sure, you can use early access, do whatever you want. But the moment your game might be objectionable on the second it may have nipple restrictions will kick in.
This man was
things like early access often function as a lifeline. It basically helps developers fund their final development push. That option is now gone for adult devs. That's yet another revenue stream cut off in a world where, you know, basically no banks or payment processors seem to want to touch them. So what options do we have as a public, especially if our concern is not...
Okay, so if banks and payment processors don't want to touch them, here's the thing. Clearly, somebody needs to make a new one. Okay, somebody needs to make a new payment processor and a new bank to go along with it, just so that way they work in congruency with each other, because people buy this stuff all the time. And again, my whole statement is, you know, as long as it's legal and you're an adult, I don't care what you do, what you buy, what you get, what you goon to. I do not care. That is all you. You are an adult. Do what you want to do. Now, I get it, you know, if the individual is younger and trying to purchase it and things get stopped and halted, absolutely. But when you're a grown-ass adult, you know, just do what you want.
Just what's happening now. But if our concern is also the direction of travel. As an example, there's a snippet I often brought up regarding MasterCard, where basically their rules talked about what, like, is genuine art. And I don't know about you, but I don't think MasterCard should be the people judging whether something is or is not art.
Yes, that's a huge thing for me. Let me tell you right now, you won't tell me what I can and cannot buy. Hell no. Not with my own money. Absolutely not. You can take that attitude and shove it up your ass. Shit. Like I said, guys, I am very brutal with things that I say. And a lot of people hate what I have to say. And that's the best part, because I'll say what needs to be said when no one else is going to say it. And I'll stand up in front of 1,000 people and do it. It does not matter. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't bother me. Jesus Christ. Trying to speak, think, and do what I need to do, and I just can't do it. Let's continue.
No, I think MasterCard should be processing payments. Remember the Change.org petition from last time? Yeah, Change.org. So a noble effort, but it only gained 20,000 signatures since then. What's actually been more impactful, though, is quite good. It's regional petitions. These have actually cut through, and some of them are getting significant backing. In the United Kingdom, 7,500 people have used the government petition system, where they're demanding that legal content be protected from payment processor bans. Now, we've covered the UK petition's limited power with
1.3 million signatures in the EU and 181,000 signatures in the UK. Stop Killing Games revoked a dismissal response from the industry. But the next response from governments will be much more important.
The Stop Killing Games case, but hitting 10,000 signatures does guarantee a government statement. That's progress. Obviously, if it gets more signatures, then you will maybe see some more progress. Links will be in the sources below. Now, over in Australia, well, the Australian Parliament is facing a different petition. They want antitrust investigations on the same grounds. And with over 6,000 signatures, it's the second most active petition right now. And what's funny is they only need 50 for a response. Well, the one that could be the most interesting is actually Canada. And the reason why is that their petitions need authorization from a member of Parliament before going public. Now, they only need 500 responses. The good news is they've got 11,000. And their petition requests transparency, better creator rights, and an end to financial discrimination by payment platforms. Okay, what will these petitions achieve? Look, I don't exactly know, but at a minimum, they will force recorded government responses, which in itself is a little useful at least.
I think it's going to, so it'll get recognized by government, and then it'll kind of be up for decision at that point. It's just kind of, touch and go, play ball. Like it's a we'll see situation. We will not know until it gets into the court of law, whether whatever country it's for. We will not know until it gets there. That's the problem that we have here. We'll never know until things start playing out and they start reading out certain things and bringing up petitions and bringing up certain rules that they want and things like that. But you'll never know until it actually takes effect or until it is actually talked about.
Are all things being framed around legal content being restricted as well, which certainly helps. The UK and Australian governments have already got online child protection laws, and Canada has been trying to pass one of their own for a few years now. But this thing is different. This is asking whether payment processors are above the law. Because again, we're talking about legal content. And to go a little further, yes, it's the case that, these are like private businesses. However, we do actually have a lot of legal precedent over things which would be called public utilities, which of course still can be private for-profit businesses. Or public businesses, of course. But basically, if you are a utility, then you're treated a little bit differently. Perhaps you remember all of the net neutrality discussion from years and years ago. But the most important part for now is awareness. Here's a quote from ex-Japanese assemblyman Zenko Kurashita. He told Dan from Mimiko Gamer via automation this quote, "Precisely because it's made so hard to see, I think most people don't perceive how serious a threat this is. And the companies are exploiting that lack of awareness to maintain their power, which is not healthy." That man is right. The people most affected by this do not have power. They can't go on nationally recognized outlets. They can't bend a leading political representative's ear. So payment processors keep shutting down art in all forms. Because that's the thing here. I'm not asking you to like these games or play these games or anything like that. But the point is, their rights are also your rights, even if you don't like what they're doing. So even if you don't like what they're doing, you should still support their rights, because those rights are also your rights. This is a very important concept that I thought we all understood as of like 10, 15 years ago. These days, I'm actually not so sure, and that is rather depressing, and it's a part of why this video exists. So the consequences of something like this reach everywhere. Now, the ongoing campaign to do things like jam call centers is actually quite good, because that causes direct operational problems for these companies. That's definitely a good thing. But without highlighting this to people with power, without reaching mass audiences, well, they'll just keep doing what they've been doing. It's times like this where having a press is rather useful. So, hello. That's us trying to, do our job. Because in a world where those who facilitate financial transactions care number one about risk and PR, not legality, guess what that does? Systemically, it means that things will be more safe.
I think PayPal needs to be adjusted. And if not, then I think that we need a new payment processor, which, like he was saying, it's a utility. Treated a little differently. Regardless, treated a little differently. I could care less. They should not have a say in what an individual can and cannot buy. I don't care if it's the US. I don't care if it's the UK. I don't care if it's Europe. I don't care where you're from. As an individual, as a human being, I believe that we all have the right. I don't care if it's Canada. All right. I believe that we all have the right to buy, purchase, and get whatever we want, okay? Now, regardless if it's legal or illegal, okay, mind you, I don't condone the illegal stuff, do what you want to do, like have fun, I don't care. But I don't think that they should stop grown adults from purchasing what they want, okay? It does not matter the adult, all right? They should not have a say in it just because of their beliefs or how they view life. They don't get that option, okay? Because other people view life a little differently. Like, I view life a little more bluntly, and I will say things that a lot of people do not like. Well, tough shit. It sucks. Grow up. All right. Sometimes we've got to take a bigger step, and this needs to start happening when people like PayPal are causing all these issues. Okay. PayPal and MasterCard, you don't have the right to tell people what they can and cannot buy. Absolutely not. Okay. You are a utility. You are useful all around the world. You don't get that option. All right. Just judging by the fact that you are a utility, you don't get that option. And if you decide to relay that option and put it in your rules and your disclaimers and your legal bindings, then yeah, I think it's time for the people to find another form of payment to use. So for those of you that use PayPal, I suggest that you stop using PayPal.
And it seems the direction of travel is not positive. So even if you don't like these games, I think you should care. These companies are doing this without a thought for the artistic consequences, without a thought for the impact on customers, without a thought for the impact on society, on culture, and on the future, because the only thing they are caring about is short-term, no bad PR, and more money. That's it. And sadly, this is just one of the many ways in which devs can be harried and messed up. And if you want basically an antidote to all of this, check out the story of Team Cherry in this video next.
Well, let me break this down. If they don't want bad PR, guess what? I got some bad news. I'm not out there, and a lot of people don't really know me, but you got some bad PR, let me tell you. No, this is not okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we know it's not okay. Let's try to fix some of these things, okay? Let's try and fix it, all right? People need to stop using PayPal. It needs to stop. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to Bellular News. My name is the Logic Vault, okay? I'm the Logic Vault. And remember, guys, we do it the logic way or with no logic at all. And I'll see you guys in the next one.